Hello, respected veterans and my dear friends. I am Colonel Dilip Thorat, retired from the Maratha Light Infantry. I will, on the very onset, like to thank the President IESL and his members for inviting me to this momentous lecture. Lieutenant General SPP Thorat, DSO, Kirti Chakra, Padma Shri, legacy is growing. His strategy and vision has been appreciated by the military experts, and he has gained the trust of the nation. He has actually become an icon, and his strategy to checkmate China is now history. In 1926, General Timaya, his contemporary, and General Thorat were cadets in Sandhurst. They excelled and became good friends. This partnership of these two very eminent officers laid the foundation of the Indian Army. Both were courageous and gallant and straightforward. Now coming down to operations, both fought from the very front. In the Second World War, General Thorat led his troops in Koima and Imphal and pushed the Japanese out of Burma. Here, again, General Timaya and Thorat and Sen came together for the first time, 3 Indian Seers in the All India 51 Brigade, and they fought the fiercest battle of Arakan at Kangwa. General Thorat led his men from the front, and his actions spurred his unit, second Punjab, to capture the objective. In the battle, 2,000 Japanese were killed. Now remember, gentlemen, I'd like you to understand the Japanese for 200 years had punished the Chinese. The Chinese were scared of them, and here was an Indian brigade which pushed the Japanese out. So therefore, they knew how to fight the very army which troubled China. All the 3 Seers got the DSO. Was never looking back. In 1947, General Timaya was fighting in Kashmir, and General Thorat was busy in merger of states, in merging the state armies into the Indian Army. Then in Army headquarters, he was given a very important task, the mother task of formation of Indian Army. The British Indian Army was divided in the ratio of 2/3 for Indian Army and 1/3 for Pakistan. Both General Ayub Khan and Mirza, Pakistani officers who later became presidents, very, very fast friends of General Thorat. But he skillfully saw that the main combat weapons came to India, and they kept the Pakistanis got the tonnage of the worst of equipment. In 1949, Mahatma Gandhi ji was assassinated. You all know all that. A day after, General Thorat was made the area commander of Delhi. The chaos in Delhi and the surrounding areas, riots, killings, and very quickly he controlled the situation. Now that's, engraved in the history. At the same time, in 50-51, he was asked to go as area commander, East Punjab. Now remember, trainloads of refugees were coming. Some trains, people were all killed, butchered, and there was commotion everywhere. General Thorat was a perfect gentleman for this occasion. He got organized his men and also the government of Punjab, and they very diligently did yeoman service. Even today, the elder people of Punjab remember General Thorat. Well, now coming down to the 1959-61, General Thorat was the army commander, Eastern Command, and General Tibaya was the army chief. Now, both these officers had appreciated the Chinese threat. In 1959, what is now known as the Thorat Plan, General Thorat put it down in his appreciation. The Chinese threat assessment, the thrust line they will hit in Nifa, the time plan, and both the generals had fought in the Burma campaign, as I told you, in the Battle of Kongwa, and they exactly knew what will hit the Chinese. They wanted to hold the main defenses on the Tawang Lima line and have plenty of reserves to stop Chinese penetration, and then the passes will close. Before that, use the Indian Air Force and artillery to knock out the Chinese and send them rolling back across Himalayas. It would have been a lesson which China would have learned. And maybe they would have left Tibet also. But that was not to be. The same was war game in exercise Lal Killa. And you'll be surprised to know that General Thapa called, and most of the generals were present. Menon, the defense minister, and Nehru were peace doves. They even brought show and light to National Defense Academy, Khadakwasla, mind you. Now, they thought the Chinese will never attack India. They wanted a forward policy. That means to push the Indian army in Nifa along the McMahon lines into 60 to 70 small posts with very little reserves. This was not acceptable to both the army chief, General Timaya and Thorat, and they put their foot down. This brought the friction and between these two generals. In May 1961, both these two men, General Thorat and Timaya, went on retirement on the same day. Mind you, in 1926 they were together. In Sandhurst, though General Timaya was 6 months senior to General Thorat, and now both of them retired. Now, these two actually left the defense and the security of the nation in hands of the other two big partners, Menon and Prime Minister Nehru, and of course Thapa and Kaul. The Himalayan Bandra is history. We don't have to look back. We are looking forward. Immediately before the war could subside, General Nehru called for General Thorat. He asked him to take up to be a member of his National Defense Council. And reorganize us, advised to reorganize the armed forces. Luckily for General Thorat, who was working as the Maharashtra Public Service Commission, and then CM Y.B. Chauhan wanted Maharashtra to have the best of officers and men selected for their cadres. Y.B. Chauhan was appointed as the defense minister after Menon was sacked from 63 to 66, 1966. Y.B. Chauhan was the defense minister and General Thorat his advisor most of the time. India regained strength in 1965, and in the battle, in the 1965 war, it proved its mettle, and thereafter they never saw back. In 1971, General Manekshaw saw to it that Pakistan was halved. Well, coming down to administrative size, in 1945, General Thorat was nominated Secretary of National Defense Academy. For the first time, India wanted an academy that will train both Army, Navy, Air Force services together. It was not there in Sandhurst or even at West Point. Now, there was a rush. All the chief ministers, the defense ministers wanted their own state to get it. But General Thorat quickly spoke to the Bombay state and got 12,000 acres released and made a strong case that at Khadakwasla, which is in the, just close to the Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj fort of Sinhgarh, and in that battle area, this beautiful academy came up. And year after year, these officers have served the nation well. As I told you, General Thorat was an officer and gentleman. In 1953, he was in Korea. He was a custodian force commander. Again, General Timai was with him. There, in one of the incidents, there were 20,000 Chinese and Korean prisoners under him as the commander of the Indian custodian force. General Timai was again there as a chairman. Now, this was a UN mission. And one day, there was a protest in one of the camps, prisoner of war camps. And after negotiations, while the major, some officers were coming out, the last Indian officer was held hostage, was just pulled from the main gate, where were 100 Chinese, and brought into and surrounded. General Thorat was in the close vicinity, unarmed. He rushed inside the gate and he was immediately surrounded by the Chinese. But he had told outside, because by then, in that half an hour, all those patrols and the units and the brigade commander landed up with weapons and guns outside. He said them, don't come inside and don't shoot. The Chinese surrounded General Thorat, with iron stakes, even wires, the same ones which Colonel Santosh faced in the Galwan Heights recently. General Thorat was not taken back. For 1 hour the protest continued, shouting. Then there was a lull. Then he spoke through an interrogator and told them, look, I am here for the last 1 to 2 hours, and you know I am in charge of this entire area. You haven't even given me any tea. I know of the Chinese customs. The Chinese are very warm people. General Thorat opened his, cigarette case, but there was no cigarette. So he said, I don't even have cigarettes. And that broke the silence. The Chinese knew the general meant well, and immediately they rushed to get tea and all. The protest was called off. And General Thorat, overnight, became a hero in the United Nations. So, both in war and peace, General Thorat left his imprints. Every time China creates problems on our borders, people still look up to his strategy. Today, India is strong. India has got very good leadership. And I am sure that we'll get back our 43,000 square kilometers of land lost at Aksai Chin and some parts acceded to China by Pakistan. It's a good day. I hope I've touched your chords. Thank you. Jai Hind.